They said he was finished. They were wrong. Valencia 2023. A man walks back into the arena that almost broke him for good. He doesn't just compete, he wins. But this is not a story about a comeback. This is a story about a boy from a tiny village in Spain who decided before the world ever knew his name that second place was failure. This is the full story of Marc Marquez. Cervera, a town of barely 9,000 people in Catalonia, Spain. Not exactly the place you'd expect to produce one of the greatest motorcycle racers in history, but in 1993, Julia and Rosa Marquez welcomed their first son into the world. They named him Marc. From the moment he could balance, Marc was on two wheels. His father introduced him to motorcycles at age 4. By 8, he was racing. Not playing. Racing. His younger brother Alex would follow the same path. But it was Marc who had something different, something that couldn't be coached. He didn't just want to go fast, he needed to go faster than everyone else. Always. At 13, Marc Marquez became the Spanish 50cc champion. The paddock took notice. Repsol Honda's scouts took notes, and the world of motorcycle racing would never be the same. 2008, Marc Marquez enters the 125cc World Championship. He is 15 years old, he is fearless, and he is dangerous. In the best possible way, his riding style defied physics. His corner entries were too late, his lean angles were too deep, his saves were not supposed to be saves, they were supposed to be crashes. Veteran riders shook their heads. Engineers couldn't explain it. TV cameras couldn't stop following him. In 2010, he claimed the 125cc World Championship title and moved up to Moto2. In Moto2, he did what Marc Marquez always does. He pushed until he crashed, learned faster than anyone else, and dominated. 2012 Moto2 World Champion, 2 classes, 2 titles, still only 19 years old, Honda came calling with an offer that changed everything, a seat in MotoGP, the premier class, the fastest motorcycles on earth. Most riders need years to adapt to MotoGP. Marc Marquez's first MotoGP season. He is 20 years old. He is riding against Valentino Rossi, a living legend with 7 MotoGP titles. Against Jorge Lorenzo, the reigning world champion. Against Dani Pedrosa, his own teammate and one of the smoothest riders who ever lived. Nobody expected him to win. He won 6 races. He won the championship at 20 years. 266 days, Marc Marquez became the youngest MotoGP world champion in history. But he wasn't done rewriting the record books. 6 MotoGP titles. 8 world championships. A man who didn't just dominate his era, he defined it. His riding style became a masterclass in controlled chaos. He could slide a 270 horsepower Honda RC 213 Volt through a corner the way most people can't maneuver a bicycle. His elbow down saves became iconic. His data was incomprehensible. Engineers would stare at his telemetry in silence. Valentino Rossi called him the most complete rider he had ever faced. That is not a small thing. That is everything. And then in a single moment in Jerez, the fairy tale shattered. July 19th, 2020. Circuito de Jerez Ángel Nieto, lap 3 of the Spanish Grand Prix. Marc Marquez, the 6-time MotoGP champion, goes down. Hard. He gets up. He remounts the bike. Something is wrong. Deeply wrong. His right arm hangs at an angle that arms are not supposed to hang. He retires from the race. The diagnosis that follows is brutal. A fractured humerus, the bone in his upper right arm, broken clean through surgery, is performed. Within hours, he is in the operating room. The plan, fix the bone, be back in 2 weeks. Marc Marquez returns to Jerez 2 weeks later for race 2. He qualifies, he lines up on the grid, and on lap 3, he crashes again. The plate in his arm, the titanium plate surgeons had installed to hold the bone together, snaps clean in half. What follows is the darkest chapter in Marc Marquez's life. 3 surgeries in 8 months, a bone that refused to heal, an arm that lost so much muscle it looked withered, nerve damage that made his right hand nearly useless. There were days, sources close to him have said, when Marc did not know if he would ever race again. There were days when he did not know if he would ever have full use of his arm again. The man who had conquered every track on earth, who had defied physics on a motorcycle, who had stared down Valentino Rossi and won, was undone by gravity, and the clock was ticking. 2021. Marc Marquez returns to racing. He should not be back. Every doctor's timeline says he needs more time, but Marc Marquez has never obeyed timelines. He wins 3 races that season. He shows flashes of brilliance that made crowds gasp, but something is different. The consistency is gone. The hunger is there, you can see it in his eyes, but the body is betraying him. He crashes more, he pushes past the limits of what his damaged arm can handle. He falls, picks himself up, and falls again. 2022 brings a new torture, diplopia, double vision, a neurological condition likely triggered by one of his crashes. That means Marc Marquez sometimes sees 2 motorcycles where there is only one. He disappears from racing for months. He misses the Indonesian Grand Prix. He misses the Argentina Grand Prix. He misses race after race while others collect the points he once dominated. The paddock whispers. Journalists write their end-of-an-era pieces. Old rivals wonder, privately, if Marc Marquez is finally finished. But those who know him best, his brother Alex, his crew chief, the engineers who have watched his data for a decade, they say something different. He'll be back, they say. He's always back. November 2022, after 11 years, after 8 World Championships, after tens of thousands of miles on the Honda RC 213 road, Marquez announces he is leaving Repsol Honda. The motorcycle racing world stops. Honda and Marquez had been synonymous. He had built his dynasty on the Red Wings. He had won everything there was to win for the Japanese manufacturer. Together they were MotoGP, but the Honda was broken. Not just uncompetitive, genuinely broken, other Honda riders were struggling to score points. The bike that once made Marquez a god now made him look ordinary. Marc Marquez is not ordinary. He will not accept ordinary. He signs with Gresini Racing, a satellite Ducati team, a step down in resources, a step up in machine quality. And in 2023, something remarkable happens. The first race of the season, Portugal, Marc Marquez, on his new Ducati, charges through the field and finishes on the podium. The crowd goes wild, the paddock goes silent with shock. He is back, not a ghost of Marc Marquez, not a struggling Marc Marquez. Marc Marquez, the real one. 2024, Marc Marquez signs for the Ducati factory team, alongside Francesco Bagnaia, the reigning champion. This is the moment the entire paddock feared. Marquez, on a factory Ducati, fully healthy with something to prove. He wins races, he battles Bagnaia, his own teammate, at the front of the grid. He reminds every single person who doubted him exactly why his name is spoken differently in this sport. But what makes this chapter remarkable is not the victories, it is the evolution. The Marc Marquez of 2024 is not the same man who crashed in Jerez in 2020. He is more patient, more calculated. The recklessness has been replaced by precision. He has kept the aggression. He has added wisdom. That is perhaps the most frightening thing his rivals have ever faced. How do you measure what Marc Marquez means to MotoGP TV rating spiked every time he raced? Sponsors fought to put their logos near his name. Circuits added extra grandstands when he came to town. He brought something to the sport that statistics cannot capture: electricity. When Marc Marquez was on that grid, you did not go to the bathroom. You did not check your phone. You did not look away. Because in one corner, one moment, one fraction of a second, he could do something you had never seen before: Valentino Rossi. Mick Doohan, Casey Stoner, Giacomo Agostini. These are the names that define eras of MotoGP. Marc Marquez's name belongs in that sentence. 8 World Championships, more than 60 MotoGP victories, a rivalry with Valentino Rossi that defined a generation, a crash that would have ended any other career, that he survived, rebuilt from, and turned into a second act. The story of Marc Marquez is not a story about talent. It is a story about will, about a boy from Cervera who refused every single time the world told him to stop. To stop, they said he was finished. They said the arm would never heal. They said Honda was his only home. They said Ducati wouldn't trust him. They said his best days were behind him. Marc Marquez has made a career out of proving people wrong at 300 kilometers per hour. The question is not whether he is done. The question is how many more times can one man rewrite history? We don't know the answer yet, and that is exactly why we keep watching.